Okay, welcome back to the Breaking.Bread.Podcast. My name's Brody.
My name's Francis.
And we've got a special guest here for you today. But before we get into that, we'll roll the intro.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Buzz it on that beat, ho.
Welcome back. Like I said before, we have a very special guest. Someone from Auckland who probably has one of the toughest jobs in the rugby league industry. And a lot of people in the Auckland rugby league scene will know who he is. But without further ado, the man, Joey.
Welcome.
Welcome, my bro. Joey, just tell us a little bit of who you are and a little bit about yourself.
Too easy. Like Brody said, my name's Joey, or Joseph Green for, I guess, properly. Born and raised in Rewa.
Rewa
hard.
Dirty South. Born and raised out in Rewa, but my whānau whakapapa back to Powaringa in the far north. Brody's a bit familiar with that spot up there.
FFN.
Naughty North. Born and raised out south, half Māori, half Pākehā. My old lady's the Māori connection. She's very, very true to her Māoridom and all of that. Youngest of four. I got two older brothers. One staying in Melbourne at the moment. And I guess the youngest of my older brothers still at home with me and the olds. My sister just recently moved to Brisbane, so she's been there for about a month now. Just four of us at home. Did I say my age?
No, you didn't.
22. I was 22.
Are you only 22 years old?
Yeah, 23 in a week.
Oh,
Fucking hell.
Still a young
what
buck,
day? What day?
Monday.
Oh, yeah.
Bit of a mad Monday.
Yeah. Long weekend, Mad Monday.
22. I think I've been around footy for about 9 years now.
Yeah, been a while.
A bit of a veteran on the scene. Did all my schooling out in Rewa. Went to James Cook. Went to school with one of the boys he played with Point a couple of years ago. Johnny Pritchard.
Oh,
He
yeah.
played and does a bit.
last year.
Yeah, so I went to school with him for a couple of years. I've never really lived out of the hood.
Yeah.
Just known it all my life, and pretty proud to say I'm from Rewa.
Yeah,
It's probably one of the fairer boys to come out of there, but
Yeah.
you're a pretty staunch Rewa boy.
Yeah.
Well, you say you're pretty proud to come out of there, and we know, and you say you're one of the fairer ones. We know someone who's on the opposite end of the spectrum when it comes to colour, Mr. Boom Bullet, Matty Tuitama, and honestly, he represents Rewa like.
There's something about those, it's like for me, like I rip the North hard.
Yeah.
And then like all you guys from Rewa use a Rewa hard. It's cool to see
take pride in that, where they come from.
Hard. But even touching back to repping the North, when we went to those 16s and 18s nationals a couple of weeks ago for league, and the fellow who does all the MC work down there, Hone Rapana, 5 minutes before one of the finals started, comes into our changing room. And he's like, bro, what have you done in your career and that, and where are you from? And I'm typical Rewa boy, always say I'm from Rewa, but I was like, nah, I think I'll use it as a chance to rep the North, because we don't being down here, we don't really get the opportunity or as much opportunities, to sort of rep our Māoridom. So any chance I can get to say that I'm from up there, I think even the first time I told you that I was from up there, sort of buzzed out. But pretty proud to say I'm from Rewa and proud to be from the Naughty North.
Yeah, hard. Oh, no. So, that's mean. But we'll get into a quick 5 questions for you. Break the ice a little bit. Who's the best player you've ever reffed?
Depends, bro. Like, are we like talking like local scene or just footy in general?
Bro, footy in general.
In general.
Oh. There's been a few like coming through the local scene. Like even when I was coming through the grades, like guys, like Stafford Tour, like him, even his brother Leper. Like when he was coming through, like he was a gun. But I think one that probably, I guess, stands out to me was probably Etene, Nano Saturo. Like when he, so he played in the same teams as my brother at Otahu. And when he was coming through the grades before he'd sort of chosen to go to rugby, bro, like their whole sets were just based around
he's a freak,
getting go forward and then tackle 3 or 4, just give the ball to him, like zigzag 50 meters and score. So yeah, like he was pretty gun. But even like Dylan and Chanel, like they were always pretty gun coming through. Like you fellas will know as well, like Dylan's like torps on a last kick, like bro, those are scary coming through the grades.
For little legs, he's got a big kick on him, eh?
Bro, hard. Probably got a bigger mouth too.
His mouth's bigger than his leg, that's for sure.
But yeah, like there's been heaps of fellas like that have ref coming through the grades that have like whether they've gone on to big things or not. Like there's been heaps of guns that I've seen.
Who's the funniest player you've ever reffed? Someone you're reffing and just does some stupid stuff and you're just like, fucking hell.
It just cracks you up.
Wow. I think a couple that come to, or like, bro, they've pretty much like taken over each other's roles. Like one, when I first started coming into Fox was Ellie, the old Tonga ninja. Bro, like before I first started coming into Fox, like everyone always just say, oh, like, you know, whenever you go out to point, you know, sort of watch out for Vita.
Oh yeah.
But bro, like when I first started, it wasn't like Vita wasn't even the problem. It was always Ellie, bro. I'm like,
what's some stuff that you can, or like what's one thing that stands out and like when you talk about like coming out and you seen Ellie?
Oh, just
grubby stuff.
Yeah, just the real grubby stuff. And like, I think being in South Auckland, like I love that stuff like as a person, but like as a ref, that's one of those things where you're just like, bro, just chill out, man. Like coming at like, you know, like the rubbing someone else's head, like when you fellas have scored, or like giving someone a spray.
You've named it.
But even like another one this year, that sort of cracked me up a bit was Bo Courts. Like I mean, since I hadn't really reffed him coming through the grades, like, and I sort of only had just met the dude this year, bro, like some of the one-liners he'd punch out. Holy.
He's lippy, eh?
He's the lippiest cunt. I remember I was watching the Akarana game when you guys were playing them.
Is that the one at Cornwall?
Yeah, and then Freedom dropped the ball. Yep, he's a rugby player. He's a rugby player.
The one thing I'll never forget is when we played them and we drew with them. I think he had set up, I don't know if he had set it up, but they had scored in the corner. I was playing half at the time. And Jeremy had scored in the corner, and I remember so they had drawn past, and I was just tracking across I was the last person to chase. They had drawn past our centre and winger. As I was chasing Jeremy to the corner, I remember diving for him, tackling him, but he had already got to the line. I rolled out with him, and then all I remember is Bo come flying along, and he come, you fucking old cunt. Like, it just started ripping into me, and I started, like, in my head, I was cracking up laughing, but I was like, fucking little shit. I was able to give him a little slap later, but fuck, that guy's a bit lippy.
Who was the worst captain you've dealt with? You can say his name.
He just said his name. Bo.
Nah, the captain,
No,
he's not the captain.
I don't think he was the captain.
Casey
was all good.
Case is the captain.
Where's captain?
Connor?
Yeah, like Connor on a bad day can be like pretty tough to deal with, but I don't really think like anyone sort of, like everyone has their days where they're a bit more challenging than others. Like even though like Bo's not really the captain, like I can still sort of, you know, like yarn to him. And you say like, you know, bro, you need to get your boys into line. And he'll actually do it.
What was the easiest team you've who was the easiest team you've reffed?
I'd probably say like that Point Chef Richmond game. Like we were you guys drew this year?
Oh yeah.
Bro, like that was probably like mentally probably one of the like easiest games to ref. Like not because like the game was hard. Like you fellas went back and forth and like we had to make lots of little decisions, but there was that like you fellas knew where you were playing to. Like you had your structures and like as much as there's like a little bit of off the cuff footy. Like it's easier to ref when like you know they're gonna set to a tram line and then shift back to the open or like those are the like that game was a pretty good example where like I could set myself up pretty easily and like put myself in a spot where like sweet they're gonna shift that way or let the ball go past them and then sort of follow it around.
Because that game in itself, I think there was a lot of emotion in regards to the team outside. So I don't think really like it was really focused at the ref.
Nah.
And the way that you refed it was awesome. It just flowed.
And I think just like knowing the environment that we're into, like it was pretty, like a battle of central. Like both team had Richmond lost by that point or nah?
I think they had lost one game.
Yeah. So like it was top of the table. Like everyone. And like everyone was pretty close to the field, so it was a pretty like hostile thing to walk into. It
was pretty packed, eh?
Yeah, bro. It was like you couldn't see a gap anywhere from people. So like those are the easy games to ref when they're just gonna play footy and gonna leave it at that.
If you had to pick one team, which team is the, I guess, or club is the easiest club to ref in regards to just like to deal with overall? Not would that be?
It'll be hard to like pinpoint one because like
name a couple then.
Like Howick's pretty good to go to. Like as much as like they have their little firm up the top of the hill. Like they're pretty welcoming to go into. I think any club's sort of good to go into now, but I think it's only because like once you sort of been around Fox for like a few years and you sort of get to know the people like around the club and like the players, like everyone sort of is able to recognize and like they make you, sort of just feel a part of the code.
Who's the player that you thought had all the potential but never quite kicked on that you've refed?
I think one. Like he's probably still got a chance to like crack on, because I think he's only maybe 1 or 2 years older than me. But like Mikey Williams, bro, like when he was coming through, the bro was just like murdering people, like just running over the top of everyone and smacking everyone, like at school and at club footy as well. And like even like when he'd play a couple of Māori tournaments with my brother, I think one of them was down in like New Plymouth. Bro, like it was just sad to like see anyone play against him.
He's just a little bulldozer,
yeah,
and he's so quick and strong.
He's got so much talent, eh?
Yeah, like he was just a gun coming through. But yeah, like all the talent in the world, and like if he gave it a good crack, he could probably still give it a shot.
That's one thing. Like he's got time. I shouldn't say time on his side, but he's got youth on his side. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's not like till you're like 26, 27 maybe, around those things where it's a little bit challenging. But in saying that, there's still been some people that have debuted around that age as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, you spoke a little bit already about going to school in Rewa at James Cook. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your schooling? Tell us about like you as a person at school and how you were at school and what you thought of school.
So like going to JC, like obviously it's sort of right in the hood of Rewa, but like I really enjoyed it. I know that like even I don't know whether it's still the same reputation at the moment, but like when I was even before I'd started, it just had one of those reputations of like being a school full of scraps. And like everyone sort of talked about there was always going to be fights after school, and like while it might not have been every day, like we had scraps. But I I enjoyed my 5 years there. I think the only sort of like one of the struggles that I had sort of going through school was like being too white for the brown boys, but then like being too brown for the white boys. So like I really struggled with that coming through school. And And to be fair, like I still sort of struggle with it now.
Yeah.
Like it's, but it's something I've accepted.
Is that like identity?
Yeah.
Yep.
Or like I know, like, yeah, like I know that, you know, proud Māori, or, you know, like a proud half Māori, half Pākehā kid. But yeah, like being at JC, you know, is very, very Māori and PI dominated.
Yep.
And, you know, sort of struggling to fit in. Like I had my mates that I'd gone through like primary and intermediate with. And, you know, like we were sort of, you know, a lot of us were together like year 9 and 10. But then once you sort of, you know, get to those NCA years like of, you know, year 11, 12 and 13, and you sort of have to, I guess, like specialise your classes.
Yeah.
And then once you sort of, you know, branch away from each other, I think there was, you know, one area of schooling where I really struggled, where, you know, I didn't really felt like I had a, you know, a group to belong to. And it's not something I've sort of learned till like after I've left school, that, you know, sometimes it's not really one of those things that you need to worry about.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I feel like my first 2 years I went to school, like I was, you know, just one of those kids who had a set in the books and, you know, like really focused on school. And, you know, like I think I was, you know, a pretty good academic student, like year 9 and 10. And then once I hit like year 11, and, you know, discovered girlfriends and, you know, all of that stuff and all the distractions, bro, I was away. You know, like barely scraping through level 1 and 2.
Yeah.
You know, just going to school to eat lunch and
Have a perv, eh?
have a perv, find girlfriends. And then like even got to my last year of school, and, you know, it was pretty much here to go and eat lunch and play, I guess, one of my only years of league that I managed to play before I, you know, while I was riffing. I mean, you know, just getting to Jam 1 last year with the crew that I, you know, pretty much grew up with.
Yeah.
That was pretty much my schooling years, yeah.
Yeah. Well, your schooling sounds like a bit of mine, so
Can relate, eh?
yeah, I can relate. How did you get into riffing, and what made you want to become a ref?
I don't even know if I like really wanted to become a ref when I first started, to be honest, bro.
Just before you asked it, did you play, like, how long did you play league for? Like, did you grow up playing league?
Bro, like I was thinking about it on the way here. Like I was a rugby kid growing up. Yeah, like I grew up playing rugby. I think I played 1 year a league when I was like 8 or 9, and we had to play upper year. I don't know what, like I don't remember what happened there, but like we were an under 9s team playing in under 10s.
Yeah.
And we were getting pumped.
Thanks, coach.
But yeah, like I was like a scrawny ass kid, so like once my parents discovered like restricted grades in rugby, like bro, that was me from, you know, from under 11s to under 13s.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that was the only year I played league, was that year we played up, and my last year of school. And I think even that last year, like we played in the senior A grade in Auckland, and we made the final, and played the St. Paul Seconds.
Oh yeah.
And I think like a couple of boys who, I think Levi Atinga was in that team. But yeah, like bro, he was a freak in that game.
Yeah.
And I think he even like fended me to the ground at one point. Yeah, like he played in that. I think Boston played in that too.
Yeah.
And like when me and him started working together, and we were like, bro, I know you from somewhere. And then we pulled up that game, and Boston was the 13, and I was the halfback that didn't do a whole lot that game. Yeah, apart from like those 2 years, bro, I didn't play league at all.
Yeah.
Growing up.
So how'd you get into riffing?
Yeah.
So it's from Touch Pro. So like like me and my brother, like we played, and still do, like we played touch all summer growing up. Yeah. Like we had a little club out in the hood called the Clinton Titans.
Yeah. Shout them out if you want to.
Shout out to the Clinton Titans. Or like the boys who watch us will know who they are.
Yeah.
But yeah, like we had a little touch club out in Rewa. And you know, we just played like all the modules that we can. We had like one out in Clendon. And then we'd go out to Papakura and play out there for a little bit as well. And I think we would have been about 12 or 13. And our module was always short of refs, bro. And so like the ladies who ran our club were my mum, one of our mates' mums, and our mate's dad. And it was just them three. And since our module was short of refs, they volunteered our whole team, bro. And so like before we'd play our game at like, I think it was maybe like 7:15 or something, like we'd ref the 2 rounds before that.
Yeah.
And then we'd go and play our game, and if there are any more rounds after that, we'd ref that too.
Did you get paid?
I think it was like $7 a game.
Hey, still money, mate.
Bro, we were like 12 or 13, and we'd get this like
That's heaps of money.
bro, we'd get this envelope at like pre-Christmas, and it would be like $200.
Yeah.
Bro, we
Yeah.
thought we were making bang.
Sussed for the holidays.
Yeah, bro.
So how you went from reffing touch?
Yeah.
How'd you go from touch to league?
So I did a couple of years on touch, and I think might have been about 2015. Like we had just finished touch season, and then a fellow that I'm still pretty close with today, Kena Waikai, he was sort of just coming through, or he was starting to come through the pathway, and sort of similar to me, like he's a fair skinned Māori boy, but he's from Huntly. He was sort of coming through the pathway and was like, oh, why don't you come and try league? And so we, him and someone else sort of dragged me along to a meeting on a Monday night. I think it might have been a Monday or a Tuesday. And that was around February or March in 2015, and that pretty much gave me my start. Did a couple of like under 13s pre-seasons.
Yeah.
And then, like a month after I went to my first meeting, I was doing an under 13s game at Mangere. That was my start.
Damn. Wow, that's a
I think I was like 14 at the time.
Yeah.
So like I was still like barely 2 years older than them.
Yeah.
And I don't think they would have realised that, that was my first game.
shit. What's like how is it for you now? Like obviously you said you didn't expect to be in there, but do you enjoy being like tell us a little bit about it now. Like do you enjoy being in it, or like is it just something that you just find yourself doing? Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, I think it's like it's sort of a yarn I've had over a few years. Like it's one of those things where like you shouldn't do it if you don't enjoy it. Like I love being out in the middle of the field, sort of running around, and like sometimes the games are a bit harder than others, but like that's all part of the challenge of sort of going on the pathway and discovering more like about myself as a person and as a ref. Like being a part of different games, whether it be like that Point Chef Richmond game where it's 14-all at the end, or like a Manly versus Parramatta Jersey Flegg game in Western Sydney where it's two completely different ballparks. But that's what that's part of why I enjoy it.
Biggest challenges. What's some of your biggest challenges you've had to face as a ref on and off the field?
I think on the field, like when I first started, it was probably my fitness. And it's something I've really sort of honed into over the whole COVID period. Like I think it was at the 2019, like at the end of the year, I ref the New Zealand residents. I think you played at that game too, like New Zealand Rezzies against England. Yeah, like I ref that game. Like, bro, I was 19. I think at the time I weighed I would have been like maybe 105 kilos.
Like you were pretty big back then.
Bro, I was big.
You know what? It was quite funny because my son, like, he watches like just random games on YouTube every now and then, and that game had come up, and then like I know you now, and I knew you back then.
Yeah.
But I didn't I don't know what happened, but it just didn't like I just didn't know until I saw the game, and I think you were blowing the whistle for a try, and I was like, yeah, Joey. And I had to like rewind it back, and I was like, holy heck.
Yeah,
like,
bro.
What?
That was like when similar story. Like I remember he used to ref us in 20s.
Yeah.
We were playing 20s, and this is when he was like peak of being big. And then I came back to point. I came back and played point, and then he was reffed one of the games, and I was running out for warm up, and I go, who the fuck is that? And I go, Joey, and he turns around and I go, holy fuck, look, what the fuck? You've been on the pipe. I was like, holy shit, this guy's lost heaps of weight.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about that? Like, were you always big growing up, or
Not really,
or
bro.
how did you get big? And then like obviously your journey to like
Yeah.
how you look now.
Yeah, so like when I was growing up, bro, like I was a real scrawny kid. And that was like I said before, like I ended up playing like restricted grades in rugby. And it wasn't until I sort of got to about, I'd say maybe like 17, 18, I reckon it was probably like in 2018. I was on the line for, I think it was a Kiwi Ferns in Jillaroos. That was like a week before my 18th birthday. And then like from that point to like that New Zealand residence game a year later, you know, I think I just found myself comfortable. You know, I pretty much thought I'd like made it because I'd done, you know, like a women's international when I was 17, or been a part of it at 17, and you know, been like having debuted in Jersey Flegg that year as well. You know, I thought I was, you know, pretty much on the path to success. Yeah. Like had a partner at the time, and you know, I guess like every relationship, one of the, you know, the easiest dates to do is to go and eat somewhere. So you know, like we were pretty happy at the time. So like we'd just go out everywhere and eat, and you know, not really do a whole lot of training. And then like after that New Zealand residence game at the end of the year, like I'll give him a quick shout out. Shout out Chris McMillan. You've probably know him as well.
With the filthy mullet, Chrissy.
Yeah, with the filthy mo. But yeah, like he gave me a bit of a rev up at the end of that year, bro. Like, you know, if you carry on down this path, you know, you're not going to get any opportunities come next year and, you know, the foreseeable future. So then roll into 2020, like did pre-season and all of that. And then what do you mean when COVID lockdown happened? I lost my job. I was just working like a casual job at the time. Lost that, and so I was pretty much at home claiming like the benefit when, like, for people
COVID
who like
benefit,
like the COVID benefit, like I was just claiming that, and all I pretty much had to do was, like, it was just me and my mum at home, so I just pretty much trained. I just trained all lockdown.
Yourself or with a group?
Or like just by myself in the garage. Like I just started, or like maybe 2 months before lockdown, I just started with JP Athletic.
Shout out to JP.
Shout out to the bro JP. I'll always give him shit, but you know, like he's probably a guy who saved my journey. And I know that like when we yarn about it, we always sort of look back to where we were like January 2020, you know, like 105 kilos and just pretty much knocking on the door of obesity for me. But yeah, like trained the house down in lockdown. I think I lost maybe, by the time Fox had restarted, I'd lost about 15 kilos. Shit. And I was down to about 85.
Is that your normal weight?
Not
like before, like.
Yeah, like probably before I'd piled on weight, I'd say, like I never really used to keep track of it. Like before I started training, but yeah, like I'd probably say 85 was where I was when I finished school.
Yeah.
And then like I think when I debuted in Fox in 2020, I was around 85, 87.
Yeah.
And then like just continued losing it. I think by the end of that year I was 77 kilos. So I pretty much lost 25 kilos in a year.
Shit.
Mate, what were you doing, mate? Just training.
Just that's all I had to do in lockdown, bro. It was just training and, you know, eat, like, since like fast food places and that weren't open, just eating clean. And yeah, like it was, I think now for me it's just a lifestyle.
Yeah.
I think that's sort of, like that's one thing I enjoy about it now is now it's just habit for me to, you know, either it's go to the gym or, you know, go to a field and do a running block. Like I think I was telling someone like a couple of weeks ago, like it's just I feel like a Gronk if I don't get a training or a running block in. Like I just gotta, like, even if it's just a walk, bro. Like I just gotta do something.
So was that your biggest challenge on the field? Was your fitness?
Yeah, so that was my biggest challenge on the field. And I think off the field, probably just the spectators, bro. Like a lot of it, like some of them actually are clued on and have like some pretty valid points, but like a lot of the spectators at the moment just have like real uneducated opinions.
Just no clue.
Just no idea, bro.
I think we'll touch on that a little bit later, but like I was just on Facebook last night, and just, you know how you get those keyboard warriors, or couch coaches. It's funny, like how you say the spectators have no clue at all, but there's some people out there that think they know their shit.
Right, definitely.
And they honestly think that what they say is correct, but
relevant.
It's relevant, and then it's just like, well, you have you ever, and you look at their profile and it's like, have you even played league before? You know, but yeah, I feel you, because I know for a fact, like, if you were to come to, you can talk about it too, if you were to come to our Point Chef training, Ben Collins, shout out to Ben Collins, and Toots, Mike Taliepa, like, those two have been like Ben Collins has been our trainer for a while, and Toots the last couple of years, but part of being a trainer is you got to be the ref of the con games.
Yeah.
You can speak on it, like, just the
bro.
amount of abuse,
Like these guys get abused.
like, and that's because we know them, like, personally off the field. So, you know, like, and we're all competitive. So, like, I could never imagine me being the ref of that.
Yeah.
Let alone of an actual game where I don't even know the people, or you know what I mean? So, like, can you tell us a little bit about, like, what it's like out in the middle sometimes?
I think that's probably, like, since I've been around in Fox for, like, you know, just going on 3 years now. And I guess over time, like, one of the things that's become a bit easier is, like, building those relationships with players.
Yeah.
You know, like with you boys out at Point, you know, with the Howick boys, I guess just all the players in Fox, you know, like, we sort of, once you see them for a few seasons, you know, you start to build that rapport with them. But yeah, like, when I first started, it was a struggle.
Yeah.
Like, I was, you know, sort of this new kid on the block who, you know, no one had really seen in Fox and was just getting picked on. But whereas this year, you know, like, I could rock up to a field and it's like, oh, sup, Joey, like, good to see you, brother. And, you know, those and, like, be able to have, like, a good yarn before a game. Like, sometimes it's, you know, something as little as that you know, sort of makes me feel like, bro, like, I want to keep doing this. But yeah, like, it's pretty tough. Like, I think, like we touched on earlier, like, you know, that Point Chef Richmond game where, you know, like, pretty much everyone's on the sideline. You know, like that, like, while it was a tough environment to walk into, like, there wasn't really anyone having a go at me. And, you know, I enjoyed that challenge. Or, you know, like, going to Howick and, you know, reffing a semi-final, you know, which pretty much went down to the wire, you know, like, challenges like that, I guess challenges I embrace now. But yeah, like, it's enjoyable just to, you know, rock up to, especially at the grassroots level, just to rock up and, you know, like, while we're at the grassroots level, we're still volunteers, you know, it's sort of, I guess, our way of giving back to the sport.
What's it like, because refereeing is, like, it's a massive job. Like, really, you're in control of the whole game.
Yeah.
You're in control of how the game goes. Is it like is it a challenging task, knowing you have that, like, it's not a burden, but knowing you have that control?
Yeah.
Responsibility.
Yeah, and, like, with it, like, and the amount of, like, the decisions we have to make, and, you know, like, I guess if
like, even saying that, like, you don't have the bunker.
Nah.
You can miss calls. You don't have, like, video the sideline touchies are blind half of the time. I say that with respect, but come on. Like, you know, and you do miss a lot of stuff as well. Like, how is that?
Yeah, like, I think that's what makes it a bit tougher is, you know, like, we get one look at it live. We get one look, one angle, and we've got to make a decision off that.
Split second.
Yeah, and, like, whether we're right or, you know, most of the time we're right, but, like, people don't want to accept it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, that's a real tough thing is that, yeah, like, every ruck, there's got to be a decision made. Like, every 10 meters we set, there's got to be a decision made.
Yeah.
You know, that I think that's why half the time we come off more, like, mentally rattled rather than, like, I guess, physically tired.
Yeah.
As I see, like, we've got to, you know, like, make sure the ruck's at a half decent speed. You know, make sure everyone's getting onside.
Yeah.
Or, you know, like, if they're not getting onside, you know, like, trying to work with them for the next tackle. You know, like, it's a lot of, I guess, a lot of thinking that goes on, and especially in any levels, really. Like, it's a lot of self-talk that we go through. And I think, like, if you watch a game, like, on, like, Pete's filming, for example, or like when we're in, like, Cup or Jersey Flag next year, you know, like, watching it on Huddle.
Yeah.
You know, like, it, I think if people outside of the refereeing circles, like, actually you saw how much we talked, like, at a high level, whether it's Fox or higher levels than that, like, the amount of self-talk that goes into it, to make sure that, you know, we're on the money, or as close to on the money that we can be. I guess that's only half the job, really.
Yeah.
That's one thing I just picking up off you speaking. Then that's one thing I would just wanted to say is like when yous are wrong, like they let you know.
Yeah.
Like the crowd and everyone lets you know. But when yous are right, they're always, you either never get any acknowledgement or it's minimal. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like even when we're wrong, like bro, like if I fuck up in a game, like bro, I will drive the whole way home and beat myself up about it.
Thinking about it.
And like I know like a couple of the boys who like are running around in Fox at the moment, like Pucks and like a couple of boys from down the line, like we all beat ourselves up when we make decisions that are wrong.
Yeah.
And because we're our own worst critic, and we always want to be right. And when we don't get it right, we let ourselves know. But it's being able to, I guess, accept that we're wrong, flush it, and go again.
I think like most people don't think yous are actually like human, like yous do have like those
100.
feelings, and it's like players as well. Like you fuck up in a game, you're thinking about it the whole drive home. Where it's the same for yous as refs. You make a bad decision or bad call, yous have to think about like it carries on with yous as well.
Yeah,
Past the game. That's exactly what I want to bring up. Is like if you're a spectator and you've never, or even if you're just a spectator, like take into consideration that like players and referees and officials and all of that carry on. They're humans too, eh?
yeah.
Like we make mistakes, and obviously, like you said, we're our biggest critics, and we know that we don't need to be told that. And if you've never worn a pair of boots, had a whistle in your hand, or put on a jersey, then like for me is like shut the fuck up. Yeah.
Like, but the hardest job in a league game, it's not the player's job, it's the ref's job.
Yeah, fine.
Yeah.
Like that's the hardest job.
You can only control one team. They control their team, but the ref's got to control both.
Yeah, like we've got to control like the 26 dudes on the field. We've got to try and work with our touches as well. We've got to worry about like people from the outside trying to like have scraps. It's everything, bro. Like it all falls on us.
Have you ever done that? Like a spectator yelling at you. Have you ever done that? Do you want to come, ref? Have you ever done that before?
Bro, I did it this year, bro. Well, did you? Was it? I won't say what ground it was at.
Say it. Nah.
Say what ground was it?
No, it wasn't at Point Chef. I'll say that.
We got respect down there.
But yeah, like it was. One of the teams had kicked it dead, and the home team were waiting to drop it out.
Yeah.
And there was some dude up on the hill was just giving me a gob full, like saying that I was like pretty much ripping off their club and wasn't giving them a fair go. Bro, I think they ended up winning this game too. And so like, nah, no, it wasn't Howick. But like the guy up on the hill was just giving me a gob full. So I sort of like looked up at him while we were still waiting to do the drop kick, and just like sort of looked like bro gave him a death stare.
Yeah.
And like I didn't have to say anything. Like I just
Put the whistle
like
up.
put the whistle up in the air. And then once he saw me do that, I was like, no, I'm all good, brother.
Yeah, fucking shut up.
Like, yeah, shush.
What's one of the funniest things you've ever heard from a spectator, or even from a player, like while you're like in the middle of reffing?
Well, I think now that you fellas know where I'm from, I think I don't know if it was. I think it was Ortara we were playing Ponsonby.
Yeah.
This year.
Yeah.
And I don't remember if I would have been at Ortara.
Yeah.
I don't know what club he was from, but he was like, "Oh, this fella must be from Central." It's like, bro, what the fuck?
Fucking Rewa, man.
Rewa hard.
I'm from fucking Rewa.
Just down the road from you.
Yeah. Greatest achievement. What's been some of your greatest achievements on and off the field?
On the field, I think like that Kiwi Friends game I did in 2018. Like, bro, I was 17. Like last year of school, had only just debuted in Jersey Flegg.
Yeah.
That was pretty, like, and the stadium wasn't even that packed. It would have been maybe, it was at Mount Smart, maybe 5,000 max at the start of the game. But for a 17-year-old who's only done maybe, I think I'd only done like maybe 4 or 5 touchlines and 20s that year.
Yeah.
Like, bro, that was pretty scary to go into. And I made a balls up in that game.
What?
So like Honey Bill,
Yeah.
she made a break down the side, or like maybe 10 meters in, and she tries to take the fullback on the outside, and then like she sort of tiptoes, offloads it, and then I put my flag up. I was like, she's gone out. Bro, I was like 100% confident that she had gone out. They show that big massive screen. Bro, they show a replay of it. The crowd starts fucking ripping into me. I was like, oh, bro. And like, I think that was maybe in the last 10 minutes of the first half. I don't reckon that last, like, however long it was left, I didn't say a word.
Shit.
And then what was even worse, like, after that replay, bro, they showed, like, a close-up of my face on the TV. And I was like, oh,
thanks,
gee.
Sky Sports.
Like, shout out to the director for putting this on.
Here he is, guys.
Were you like nervous? That nervous that you were sort of like anticipating it was gonna happen?
Yeah, like I think like I said before, I just wanted to do everything right.
Yeah.
Like I was, like pretty much my first crack at, I guess, what I thought was the big time. And like all the NRL refs were there for like the Kiwis game after us. I just wanted to try and look like I was the man in front of them. And bro, backfired. Yeah, like that's probably one achievement. And then like getting to referee flag the next year, like even though I was still a big bopper, like getting to debut in that still pretty early on. Because like bro, like in the Aussie system, some of those dudes wait like 10, 15 years. They wait ages for a crack. Bro, I was like 18 in my like 5th year of reffing. So like there was that, bro. Like that New Zealand residents game, that was pretty wicked. And then even like debuting on the touchline in Cup this year, like I didn't really think of it as a goal because like I'd like sort of just finished SG ball season, and I think I don't know if I'd gone to Aussie yet to train over there or not for a bit, but like getting an opportunity in that, like it was ratchet that it came because of an injury to one of the bros. But like just making the most of the opportunity I got, and then pretty much getting to stay there for the rest of the season.
You want to tell us? We'll bring up a little incident that happened. I think it was a couple of years ago. Between our game against us and Otahu. Your experience probably something refs probably should never have to experience. Do you want to tell us a little about what happened that after that game and that?
Yeah. The effects as well, like what happened after the game, and like also the effects that it's had on you moving forward, or if it has had any effects on you. Yeah.
So I think like obviously a bit of context for all the listeners and the viewers. Like Point Chevy Otahu, one of the, I guess in Fox, like even in that year and still now is like one of, I guess as refs is like one of those games we look at and like this is going to be a mad game. Especially being at Walker Park as well. It's not not an easy place to go into and like to play footy or even ref footy sometimes. Like it was a real tough game. Like players challenging me from both sides. And I thought we got a good game of footy out of it.
Yeah.
And like I'm not going to name names from Otahu, but like a few of their players having sort of I guess having a dig at me, like as a person and as a ref. And I think it might have been after the last try was scored. Sort of I guess it was the end of the game. So like I think you boys would have been standing there and waiting for the kick to go over. And all the Otahu corners were all in one side of the field. And just waiting for since we were on that side of the field waiting for the conversion. And waiting while you're standing there, for a solid, whether anywhere between 30 seconds to like 2 minutes, just standing there copping it from
Mm.
from supporters. It was pretty tough to listen to. And I still, I think I was only 20 at the time.
Mm.
I'm still sort of trying to find myself as a person, in life. I wouldn't say I was in a tough spot, but that week was just a bit of a rough week mentally. And then having to go there and cop that as a person. I think that sort of just tipped me over the edge. Sort of just had a bit of a breakdown.
Yeah.
I don't really think I've sort of spoken about it like this in depth.
Yeah.
Since it's happened, I've had yarns about how I felt after that, but it's probably the first time I've talked about the incident. Since then, it was, I think for me at the time, it was pretty tough. I'm still trying to find my way in footy and get somewhere in the pathway. It sort of just feels like everyone was just going against me.
Yeah.
Ended up having a bit of a breakdown on the sideline. And I think the worst part about that was, my mum and dad were there to see that it all happen. For people that don't know, my brother grew up playing for Uruhu.
Yeah.
He played there from when he was 12 right up until he was 18. He's got strong ties to the club, and still has a few ties to people involved in the Rezzies team there. To Tussa, Tussa coached him coming through, and he's still he's one of the best dudes going in footy at the moment. Always asked about how my mum and dad are, how my brother is.
Yep.
I've always got a lot of respect for Tussa. But just broke down that day. Having my mum and dad there, who I think that biggest achievement off the field, is just wanting to make them proud, and to see me doing something I enjoy, and for them having to see their young baby crying on the side of a field after he's reffed the game. That was probably one of the hardest things for me and for them too. And I think one of the first things I said to when my mum first came and hugged me, there was obviously the video that sort of came out about it. I don't even remember or it got posted not long after it happened. But when my mum was hugging me while I was kneeling on the ground, all I said to my mum was, I've had enough of this. I don't want to do this anymore. And that was in a footy aspect, and in a life aspect as well. Having 50 or however many people it was, just feeling like they were attacking me. I didn't want to face that at all, and I didn't even want to come out of my room at all after that.
Damn. I'll quickly go because we were both a part of that game. So the last try was the one that I scored. The last goal kick was the one that you kicked. But listening to you speak about how you were 17-year-old, 18-year-old, and then you were the Kiwi Ferns and Jillaroos, and then obviously SG Ball and all of that. So you would have been on a high, and then obviously coming to Fox and then having that happen, and then listening to you saying, you're done. What was one of the biggest things that, looking back now, that you feel had got you through that day and that time, and what's something that when you look back at it?
I think I had I've had a really good group of mates who, some of them don't ref footy anymore, but Rochelle, for example, she's one of my best mates. Her and the rest of our group, they really got around me and said, give yourself a bit of time before you think about it, because and it's something I've heard a lot of coming through the grades is you're probably our next biggest chance of a Kiwi getting to getting a crack in NRL full time. Take a bit of time to think about whether you really want to give up that pathway, because if you take time away, you're not necessarily going to start at the bottom of the pile, but you won't be where you are at the moment. There was that. just my whānau as well. Like my whānau really wrapped around me and and really supported me, and I guess they're almost my day ones really. Like they're always at as many footy games as they can be. Like regardless of whether it's Fox or whether it's at Mount Smart on a Warriors game. Like get them, if I have to get them tickets, I'll get them tickets. But like if they can be there, they'll be there, and that's the thing that I love.
It was like I remember I seen the video. I think it was like the day after, because none of our players or like anyone even knew what had happened.
We didn't even know about it
until I seen the video, and I seen the video pop up on Facebook, and I was like, nah, can't have been, like, because this was our game and we didn't see it. And I straight away sent it to this guy, and I was like, did you see this? And he goes, no. And then that's when we reached out. He's like, reach out to women. So we reached out just to, make sure you're all right. But that's like, as a player, like that's the last thing you want to see, especially a young ref too. And for me, to me, I believe you're one of the best referees in our country.
Yeah,
like, and that's like speaking like honest truth. Like we've all had some refs and some are just absolutely terrible. But like to see that, and especially like you being so young, like it had a big toll on our whole team. Yeah, because we knew how close you were to some of the boys in the club as well. Yep. So seeing that, like I think we made it a big deal to reach out to you, and because that like didn't matter who it was, any ref, shouldn't have to go through that sort of I guess abuse or
negativity.
Negativity.
Yeah. So it really opened up a lot of eyes around footy to I guess to what the culture was at that point. And like it sort of I guess you guys were a prime example of that, like really starting to wrap your arms around refs, and like as much as we have our challenges on the field, like off the field, whether the ref comes back to the club and has a drink, or like being able to share that connection, that footy connection off the field. That's something that's really started to, I guess, to become better following that incident. But it was sort of sad that it took an experience like that for our culture to become a bit better.
Yeah.
Did you notice a change after that incident, like between players and refs, or like crowds and refs?
It's at specific clubs. Yep. Yeah. Like the first game I'd done back like a couple of weeks later, or I think it would have been about 3 weeks later. Like I'd gone back to reffing, and I think it was sometime during the game we were waiting for a conversion, and there were a group of boys up by the changing rooms, and then one of them sort of realised it was me. Yeah. And they sort of screamed, "Oh, that's that crybaby ref!" Yeah. And I like at that point I was able to, I guess, handle a comment like that. Yeah. Like we still shouldn't have to, I guess, for me to be recognised as the ref that that broke down on the sideline. But like it taught me a lot about, I guess, just being resilient. And like overcoming the challenges that we face.
I think for us as a club, after he had sent that to me, and then obviously we had made sure that we had reached out to you. I remember every single game after that as a club, and we cop shit for it, and we don't care, because obviously us boys at Point, like we know who we are, and we love haters. So after every game, we made it a point to pull the ref aside, pull the officials aside actually, and just show our love and respect for every ref or official that actually done our game. Yeah. From that point on, that was just something that we all had come up with as a team and as a club. Again, just to show our appreciation. Because what a lot of people don't realize is if we have no refs, we have no game. Yeah. Obviously, you can get a ref from out the crowd, but obviously, who's he coming here to watch? Yeah. Is he for one club or is he from another club? You know, like as a referee, like you're the person that's in the middle that, again, you're controlling both sides, both teams. So it is a fucking very difficult job. And like I said, I'll never put my hand up for to be one either.
It's like even when we'd pull the refs in,
Yeah.
bro, we'd pull the refs and straight away the crowd. Look at these fucking cheats.
Wasn't it like when you did it at Mount Albert, and
These guys are fucking paying the
they
refs.
fucking pay the refs. Look at you, he's cheating.
yeah, like I remember, like when I came back and like I just did a bit of coaching for the ref who had done you guys the next week, and like it obviously like that was sort of the first time you fellas had did that following the incident, and I guess that was where my respect for you fellas grew. You know, like obviously like after you fellas reached out, you know, like I really appreciated that. But then like to, I guess, add even more respect, you know, like you guys made the effort to, you know, to, I guess, have that yarn within after the game, and you know, regardless of what happens on the field, you know, it stays out there, and you know, making us feel like we're a part of the code. You know, that was something that, I guess, for me, like as a ref and as a person, like my respect for you two, and for Point Chef as a club really grew.
Yeah, thanks, bro.
Thanks, brother.
Tell us what it's like reffing in Auckland. Could say it's a tough gig.
Yeah, like it's pretty, like I enjoy it, but then yeah, like when I'm trying to just be like outside of footy, like 22-year-old Joey who, you know, like most other 22-year-olds on a Saturday night, sometimes just wants to, you know, sort of get on the rack and, you know, just like have a good time.
Yeah.
You know, like I think that's when sometimes it's a bit hard because, you know, like you go out to places and ref, and like, bro, I don't mind that, but it's, you know, like I'd rather just go out and, you know, be able to I can drink my liver away and and you know, just black out and not remember the night like other people. And you know, like obviously, like I've, you know, had a few waters with Fuse boys, and you know, sort of made a couple of memories out at that club that, you know,
got a good memory on my phone too. But we'll save it for another time.
Yeah. Hey,
who knows? I might put it down here. Ding.
Just quickly, like I think we're kind of naive to like a referee as well. Like how you said, your family come to the game and support you and whatnot. Like I think being a player, like I'm pretty naive to thinking like the ref just comes by themselves and just does their own thing and then leaves. Like I kind of forget, like as a player, that referees have families too. Referees have support. Like, and it's pretty cool to see, like, you know, like people come to the game not to watch the teams, but to actually watch the ref. Yeah, if that makes sense. So, like, I guess, what is it like for you now, reffing and seeing and knowing that your family or friends are there to support you? Because, like I said, for me as a player, like I kind of forget that there's people at the game that it's not actually there for the teams or for the clubs, it's for the man in the middle. Or I guess a better shout out my mum and dad. Shout them out, man, and all your family and friends that you want to. Yeah, but yeah, like I think mostly shout out to, you know, like mum and dad. Like I touched on before, you know, like if they can get there, they will. Like they don't come and watch me like warm up or anything, but like, you know, when it gets to, you know, like 2:30, you know, I can always count on them to be there, and you know, like when we have those downtimes between conversions, or you know, like when we have injuries or something, you know, being able to look around and, you know, see my mum and dad, is sort of something that pushes me through. So yeah, like I probably don't say it to you fellas often enough, but you know, love you fellas. I always appreciate your fellas support. It's kind of cool, like, because I know that when I see my family, like, there could be heaps of people. And you just really know where they are, or you could just
spot them out easily.
Spot them out easily, or you know their voice. So like, you know, for you, being in the middle, especially being under so much pressure and whatnot, like obviously it must be cool to be like, oh yeah, like there's my people. Like, they're here for me. Yeah. And even like we're at like school nationals the other week or the other month for, you know, for league. And you know, like being able to ref that final again. And you know, the first people I see, you know, after I see like my fellow refs and that, you know, the first people I see, you know, are my mum and dad. Yeah.
You know, like it's stuff like that. Like regardless of whether I'm 18 or 38, like I always want them to be the first people I see.
The little things, eh?
Yeah, the little things, bro.
Your age, brother.
23.
38.
23, brother.
Pressures. What's some of the pressures that you have on and off the field as a ref?
I think on the field, touched a bit about it earlier, or sort of through the whole podcast. Really, like the spectators. That's probably the biggest pressure on the field. I think like on and off the field, like I give myself a lot of like self pressure, and I think it's probably I put it down to a few things really. Like one, like I know that I can get somewhere with it.
Yeah.
And I know that I've, like if I give it a good crack for the next couple of years, like I could get somewhere.
Yeah.
Like there's that pressure.
Making a career out of it type of pressure.
Like just making a career out of it, and wanting to get somewhere. And I think that that's probably the biggest pressure I give, like getting somewhere. And, like since I'm trying to get somewhere, I got to try and stay fit. I got to, like do my homework on just, I guess, the technical aspects of refereeing, like how we communicate and positioning and urgency as well, like getting ourselves to the best spots. That's where I think that's where a lot of the biggest pressure comes off the field.
Let me ask something real quick, because again, like naive to it all. We as players, we train with game plan structures and that. Can you give us a little insight into like what a preseason looks like for ref? How does the season go for ref? Obviously, we heard you touch on a little bit about you guys all talking. So before you answer all of that stuff, can I just ask one question, just for me personally, is like, do you guys meet up weekly and do you guys like talk about, okay, look, you're going to this club, look out for this person, look out for this thing, or like, how does that go before you answer the other question of what it's like to be a referee in preseason and whatnot?
Yeah, like we do talk. Like we don't necessarily say like the negative aspects of things.
Yeah.
Like we just sort of give each other tips, like, hey, like this guy might do this thing, or but like I think for a couple of us at that sort of, I guess, in between level of like going between Fox and high levels, like we don't anticipate things to happen anymore.
Yeah.
Like that was a real big thing. Like when I first started getting into like to flag pre-COVID, was that like bro would send out like massive novels pre the game of like, this guy does this thing, and like we need to watch out for this guy doing this action at the ruck, or
Like preempting type of thing.
like a lot of preempting. Whereas like before a cup game now, like we'll just say, or like we need to set up a good 10 meters, like we need to get in real early with with markers and all of that stuff, but it's not a whole lot of preempting anymore.
Yeah.
But then like leading into like, I guess the preseason training and all of that aspect of being a referee, like I hope our refs don't mind me being honest, but bro, like we haven't done a proper preseason for like
I can tell.
we haven't done a proper preseason since pre-COVID, bro.
Yeah.
And a lot of our training's been on our own.
Yeah.
So yeah, like a lot of Tuesday, Thursday sessions, at a park somewhere. But we're the only person we're competing with is ourselves.
Yeah. What was it like before pre-COVID? Did you guys used to meet up and train, or?
Yeah, so like pre-COVID, we used to have like it was like an initiative run by the NRL. Like they had a full setup over there. And like since obviously like with the Warriors and like us being involved in all of their competitions, they sort of set up an academy over here. So there was like a lot of us who I guess are in like that high level of football now, like myself, Pucks, Vigo, Rochelle. Like obviously Rochelle's over, killing it over there now. But yeah, like a lot of us were like, we actually trained together. Like it was only once a week, just because that was what we could manage, like with our own, personal lives and all of that. But, like we'd actually preseason would train twice a week, just out of Cornwall Park.
Yeah.
And like bro, we'd get flogged. Chris McMillan would do all our trainings. And since he was still sort of in and around the NRL system at the time, like
Mm.
he'd bring it back down to like something that would suit us.
Yeah.
But bro, we would get fucking murdered.
Underway likes a tight t-shirt or two, hey there, fella. Shout out Chrissy.
But yeah, like so we'd like train twice a week pre-season, once a week in season. Then you like some of those in season sessions, like bro we wouldn't recover till like the Saturday.
Shit.
Sounds a bit like league, like teams training.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty like it still buzzes me out, like again, like I said, it was like just naive to like players training.
What actually they do behind
Yeah, like frick.
just the game, eh?
Yeah, like oh yeah, still buzzes me out.
Dealing with losses or difficult situations in life, how do you deal with them? What are some ways you deal with I guess tough situations in your life?
I think, or now it's sort of just like just going to the gym.
Yeah.
Like when I really find myself struggling, I mean, like I'll just like if I have the time, I'll just go and train and just flog myself, and like it's probably not the best thing to do.
Yeah.
But for me, it's just that's my escape. Yeah. Like that's where I sort of feel happy now, and it's sort of like my second home really. But then like even I guess just difficult things in life, bro. Like I've sort of just come to accept it, like feeling all the emotions that come with it is okay. Like it's all right to like to dwell on the situation for a little bit. Accept that what's happening is happening for a reason.
Yep.
And realizing that the sun's still gonna rise tomorrow. And like just being able to like pick myself back up and go again.
Before
That was a gym, bro.
that was a gym
That was
right
a
there.
gym right
Ting!
there.
Before you ask the next question, the question that I had in mind was like, as referees, this is just me speaking from like I wouldn't say like trying to get the upper hand or anything, but like, how do you guys go about like making sure everyone's on the same page? Because obviously it comes down to interpretation, right?
Yeah.
So say for example, you might ref us one game, and you might say, because I know with you, we can get on with quick taps.
Yep.
Like obviously being younger, being fitter, can keep up. You don't mind quick taps if the ball goes dead or whatnot. But then again, you got some referees out there that say, no, there are no quick taps. Like, how do you guys all get on the, not how do you get on the same page? Like, what do they do for you as referees to make sure that you guys are all on the same page type of thing?
Yeah.
You guys have constant training throughout the year, workshops or whatever? What is it?
Yeah. Also, like our Auckland refs at the moment, like we meet on a Monday, every week during the season.
Yeah.
And a lot of that time is usually spent, like discussing whether it's things that happen on the weekend or, like discussing upcoming tournaments or things that are going on. But then like the other half of the meeting is, like to make sure that we're all somewhat on the same page. Sometimes it's, I guess, everyone's interpretations are a bit different to others. But I don't think that's really a like an Auckland issue. That's just like that's a refereeing issue in general. Like there's you could look at the rule book and like my answer would be different to Vigo's answer, whose answer would be different to Keds' answer.
Yeah.
Like we don't like there's some of the rules that are like black and white. Like a knock on's a knock on, a forward pass is a forward pass.
Yeah.
But like obstructions or like kick chases, the real finer details of the game. I think we could probably do a little more work around that, like pre-season leading into next year. But we do sit down, once a week and discuss these things.
Before we carry on, you don't have to name names, but is it true some refs actually hate us? Be honest here.
Nothing like let's just be we put it like this. We love to be hated. Like it's what motivates us. But I don't know. Like sometimes it just feels like
I feel like I do feel like certain people have certain agendas against, I guess you could say, like all the better clubs in Fox. I don't I don't know why. But yeah, like I do feel like there's. I hope I don't get shot for like saying this, but you know, like I feel that like you guys just have a just a competitive culture. I think I think all the clubs who compete in Fox they're just competitive. Obviously, like some sit in the top 4 more consistently than others, but like at the end of the day, everyone just wants to win. And I think, like in your guys' case, for example, like
People are sick of it.
like when you win it that often, that's sort of something I've learned from a few people, I guess, in different sports. Like when you win so consistently, then like bro, flaunt your shit all you want. Like that you can back it up. Like talk your talk and like have confidence in your ability.
I think
So what Joey just said is yes, there are refs that hate us. Nah,
I think
kidding.
I think that's all part of like you said, like winning, or even just in life in general. We spoke about it the other week on like tall poppy syndrome. Just like when other people are doing well, no matter what it is, like you always want to
Find ways to bring them back down.
Yeah, definitely, bro.
Bring them down and all of that stuff. So
I think. Like especially in your guys' instance, like being able to be, like we'll take that Fox final for example, like being able to win the way that you guys did, like and it was like being able to sit in the crowd and actually watch a Fox game for once, bro. Like that was a tough crowd to be in. And I think even for like you being a Richmond junior, aren't you?
Yeah.
Like you being a Richmond junior. I know that like Dylan, when he came through, he played a bit of footy at Richmond. And I think just growing up around the central Auckland area, like people know yous. I didn't really think the way that like some of those spectators went about their ways after the game towards you guys was fair. Like it was pretty sad to see that they were just the people were just trying to drag you down as much as they could, but it's like, bro, you just compete for success. And like when you can win back to back, or help and pretty much have 3, obviously like 2021 got cut short, but like pretty much have 3 successful seasons in a row. Like then bro, have the confidence to strut your shit and
Right.
No, I agree. Obviously, with in regards to that, like obviously, about half our team's from Richmond, which is quite funny, and not only that, there's probably another half from our reserve grade too that are actually from Richmond. But again, like we said, like hate fuels the fire, and I think if people are a bit smarter, especially looking at a lot of successful teams, I think if they stopped hating and started being nice, I think
we thrive off hate.
like you might get the opposite effect. So but that like what we always say, it is what it is, and you can't change it. So we're fine with that. For you, what's life outside of league for you? Like obviously being a referee, whatever. What's life outside of that? What do you do for work? What do you get up to, and all of that, Carry on.
I think if you'd like asked me maybe like 4 months ago, I probably would have had a different answer. But like life outside a league is still pretty much life inside a league now. Like we haven't really gone public with it like since I started. But being able to work at Auckland Rugby League and the referee development space. Like taking over from one of my best mates. I was pretty lucky that they sort of wanted me to take over from her and put my own little twist on refereeing in Auckland from the mini mod space right up to the to the Premier football. Being able to, I guess, looking at initiatives that we could start in Auckland and how it can make our referees better. That's something that I've been passionate about for ages, bro. And it's something there's a few things that I'm really keen to get started or get off the ground. only because I know that our referees come, next season, and with 18 months to 2 years down the track, like we've got the capability to have more refs in like the New South Wales space, giving them the tools to succeed, and like regardless of whether they're a Māori or PI from South Auckland like me, or whether like a young Pākehā kid from from Hibiscus Coast, for example, or everywhere in between. Just giving them the opportunity to succeed, and putting the people like in place in some of the programs we want to run to, I guess, let them put their best foot forward, so that when they come to like Howard Mats or SG Ball, for example, they're not getting chucked in the deep end, because it's a pretty daunting like arena to go into.
All eyes are on you, type of thing.
Yeah.
What's some of the ways you keep yourself well mentally? I know before you touched on going to the gym.
Yeah.
The gym being a big space for you. What are some other ways you keep yourself well mentally besides getting on the piss?
I think, like something I've really started to like hone in on this year is just like being grateful. And like something I've done like the last couple of weeks, just with one of my mates, I'll just like text him on a Friday, and just like, what are you grateful for today?
Yeah.
And like whether it's just like one thing or three things, like, or something that I've been doing a lot of this year's, just like I'll like before I walk into work on a Friday, I just be like, even if it's the same thing from the week before, like I'm grateful for my whānau or my friends, or grateful to be in the place I'm at the moment. So there's that, and just checking in with, I guess, my mates. Like it doesn't always have to be in person. But like just if I haven't, like one of my boys like one of my type boys that I grew up playing rugby with, shout out to you, Lockie, love you bro. But like just texting him once like every few months, just being like, hey Oos, I know we haven't caught up in a bit, but like just know that the love's always the same. Noise in your corner and all that kind of jazz. And just knowing that regardless of whether we see each other once a year or once a month, just letting my people know that the love always remains the same, and it just gives me something to smile about that day.
Makes a big difference, eh?
Right, that's it. And like it's such a little thing, it takes like 30 seconds to write a text. Something as short as that.
We do that.
Yeah, we do it like you said. Like we text each other. What are you grateful for today? What's the highlight of your week?
That's even though we see each other every day of the week.
Like literally we're together every day, but it's still the same,
Oh, that's massive. Like we underestimate it, and we always talk about it, but I don't think there's enough people out there actually doing it, and that's us as males banding together, finding a common interest, or just like a common space that we can obviously create. And just be able to check in on one another. I know there are people out there that do it well, and people's circles that they do check on each other, and they do keep in touch quite often. But again, there are people out there that don't have that opportunity or the people around them. So like for us as our boys, like we never take that for granted. We know that men suffer in silence, and we know that, again, just a little how are you, and then you're always gonna get I'm all good, but then another but
like
how are you,
the true answer, right?
So we like you said, like it's cool to see that like you and your circle are creating safe spaces for one another, especially just to check in on one another more often. And I think it's like, for me, it's since I'm tied up with footy so often, like we pretty much go from February to November with not a whole lot of free weekends in between. Obviously, like for someone like me, it means missing a lot of birthdays and chances to go and see them. So like just, I guess, giving them the love and respect that, I guess, since they show the love and supports me for being able to go to footy and that, like just reciprocating that love with them, and I guess just showing that regardless of where I am, that I still
care about them and love them from wherever I may be.
No, me.
Me, you.
Yeah.
Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? In general, we'll say like whether it be refereeing or whatever,
Refereeing
just
or
just
life.
like in life. And where do you see yourself in the next 5 years in life, or where do you want to see yourself at?
Hopefully not being a play-up cunt and married.
Enjoy it while you can, mate.
No, I think, I don't know. I think like for me as a person, like I'm not really the, one to
Look further.
look. I'm not really, or like in a personal aspect, like I'm not really a party person, so I don't really want to, be with different people like every weekend. Like someone I know will be listening to this will know who he is, but I won't drop his name because he'll hear it. But yeah, like I wanna, hopefully we settle down in Sydney, and hopefully by that time, hopefully in the NRL. It's pretty optimistic, I guess with being in New Zealand. We sort of have to not only compete with our own backyard, but compete with the thousands of refs they got over there.
Who said it's optimistic?
Them. But I think for me, it's challenging the narrative, and regardless of whether you have thousands over there, and on top of our people that are competing to try and get to the NRL from here. Just putting my best foot forward, and pretty much me thinking in my head that I'm going to be that guy, regardless of whether it takes 1 year, 5 years, or 10 years. I want to be that guy that makes the NRL.
Yeah.
And I do say it a lot that I want to get somewhere. And whether people think I'm crazy or not, I just want to achieve my dreams, and that's why I spend so much time in the gym, or so much time at footy, is because I'm pretty much on the pathway now.
Yeah.
If I step away from it and try and come back to it, I'm gonna have to start from the bottom. So why not give it a crack while I'm somewhere near the top?
Yeah.
Before we wrap it up, do you have anything quickly? I just want to ask them just one quick question before we wrap it up. Again, being naive, when we play, our preparation is a game plan, gonna smash someone or get smashed or whatever it is. You guys don't have to worry about getting smashed.
Yeah.
What's your preparation leading up into a game? When you guys do training or whatever, what's your preparation in the change rooms? Because obviously you got to warm up.
Yeah.
But what's your how are you guys preparing for a game? We have to think of executing a game plan. We have to think of who's in the other team, that type of stuff, and making sure we do our role. What are you thinking of? What's your preparation and being a ref and reffing a game?
I think it's probably easier for me to answer this at a New South Wales Cup level, because we sort of have that, or when we get to that level, we have enough time in the sheds beforehand to the game plan. But for us at that level, it's just about nailing our core roles. For me, I've only experienced that as a touch judge at the moment. But for us touchies, just nailing our roles, and clearing kick chases, assisting the ref where you can, and obviously assisting with little decisions, wherever it is on the field. But that, and just clearing our head really. We sort of give ourselves 10, 15 minutes, in between going out for our warm up, and when we finish our game planning, we sort of give ourselves a bit of time to just to bring ourselves back down to earth. Listen to whatever music we got to listen to, or
ask you that.
Just
Similar to what?
Similar to playing.
Yeah.
You just bringing yourself back to earth, and we pretty much have the same yarns that you guys do.
Buzzy.
Come on, mate. I thought you would knew that.
Nah, I it's I know that.
Yeah.
But it's
you need to hear it too.
hearing it, and then just everything that I've just asked is again, like we had said, they're human too.
Mm.
Yeah, like we had said, players and referees are human, but from a spectators, like they probably buzz out when they hear, oh, they're human. Oh, but we see them on TV or we see them doing this, like talking about NRL players. It's like,
Yeah. Like even for me, like one thing that I've sort of done this year is, like rocking up to a stadium with like my glasses on and AirPods and like holding a cup of coffee on my bag.
bit of a
like
suave dude. Eh?
Like, like you see all the players do it so often. And it's like, for me, it's something that seems so little when you see it in a photo. It's like sort of makes me feel like I'm in the zone and like ready to not necessarily like smoke some cunt, but like
I'm ready to roll.
yeah, like fuck, I'm like, bro, I'm gonna be him on the field.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you a penalty, you a penalty, you're going to the bin.
Bro, like people, like I was telling someone a couple of weeks ago, like it's probably something like the players would probably be a bit buzzy, but like, bro, like that 10-15 minutes like between when we finish like talking about the game and like going out to warm up, like, bro, I'm listening to like fucking 50 Cent, like Many Men, bro, like getting myself hyped, and I'm like I think about it now, I'm like, fuck, you're just a ref, bro. like it gets me hyped, but I'm like, bro, why am I listening to a song like, but I do trying to fucking kill someone?
Yeah.
Gotta do what you gotta do, man.
Each to their own.
Whatever preps you.
Exactly right. That's the fucking biggest job.
But we'll wrap it up there. But yeah, before I give it to Cest, from me, bro, thank you for your time. I know you're a busy man now, but thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing a different perspective in the game of rugby league. Obviously, we hear a lot from players, and this is a different side where we get to hear from a ref, someone who has control of a game, someone who has the hardest job on the field, really. So to hear from you, from me personally, you're one of the best refs in the country, and I really do hope you go on to higher things, higher honours. I'll be rooting for you because I know what you're capable of, and thank you for your knowledge. Thank you for your time. We really do appreciate it, and I can't wait to see where you go with this reffing journey, and it's good to see you've come a long way, obviously from the Joey who was reffing us about 4 or 5 years ago to the Joey now, so you see a big difference. So thanks for coming on, bro, and jumping on.
I just want to jump on the back of that. Again, we just want to thank you for your time. Again, we want to thank you for giving us an insight again of being a referee. Like I said, like just asking the questions that I was asking you, we're a bit naive to actually what goes on as a ref, and all the preparation and training and knowledge that you guys must have to again officiate a game. We know it's not the easiest job. We know it's the hardest job on the field. Again, as players, we just go out there and play. But I could not imagine me being in the middle with a whistle. So for me personally as well, is like just thank you for the job that you do, for the person that you are, and just giving us that little insight and into knowing that you guys are human and you guys do have emotions and you guys do have feelings, and listening to your journey again, like what Brode said, from the Joey a few years ago. We'll say Joey, to like what you went through with the incident to being like the man that you are today. Like we thank you again, because like we said earlier, without people like yourself putting their hands up to referee, we wouldn't have a game to play. And again, that's something that we're passionate about, and I don't think you guys get enough credit for. So like Brode said, we just want to give you. Wish you all the best in your referee's journey. We know that again you got all the talent and ability to go to that next level. I think you've had glimpses already and opportunities already, and we just want to see you get into the NRL, become full time, and get that 300k 300k baby. But again,
and it's your shout,
and it's your shout, and we can say, hey brother,
you're welcome.
You're welcome.
Hey, jump on the potty now. You're at the top.
Yes. But thank you very much, and again, we appreciate your time. So I'll hand it over to you, my brother.
Nah, I think, just from me, I really appreciate the opportunity just to share my story. I feel like there wouldn't be much people in our league scene that, would think that I'm just a 22-year-old from Rewa. But, I really appreciate, the opportunity to come on the podcast, to share my story, and even just to yarn with you two boys. Regardless of whether we're on or off the footy field, I've got the utmost love and respect for you fellas, as players, as people, and as family people as well. It's, I guess, seeing your guys' life on social medias and that, so I guess for me as a ref and as a person gives me a different perspective to you guys in life, and it's just, I guess, like you said, Cess, we're human at the end of the day, and we're all just trying to sort of navigate our way through life, and I guess just being grateful for for what we've got at the moment. But I really appreciate the yarn today, boys, and hopefully my message can sort of resonate with a few people who, whether they're refs at the moment or, want to become referees. Hopefully hearing my story can, inspire them to, I guess, follow the journey that I'm on. But
just plug yourself. Plug it real quick while you get the opportunity. Plug it. How do you become a ref?
So if you want to become a ref, obviously you can hit myself up at Auckland Rugby League, joseph.g at aucklandleague.co.nz, or if you want to jump on the Auckland Rugby League Refs Association website, it's just arrrefs.co.nz. The information's on there if you want to, I guess, contact the people from the association. Otherwise, there's my email. Hopefully, Broads will be a GC and chuck my little email down the bottom there.
Ding.
Ding. But if you want to become a referee, it's not that hard. But feel free to get in touch with me or our association and we'll hook you up.
To Mickey, that's us. Another episode on the Breaking Bread podcast. So make sure you tune in.
Let's go.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Buzz it on that beat, ho.